Back to black and white, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, I thought I'd do a video all about AI now, since I've not really put out very much content about AI in the past, and I've written a book, a science fiction novel that I've released onto the internet briefly onto Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing, and then took off again because I was embarrassed by it, and I was desperately trying to rework it for many years, but it dealt with the subject of AI and the topic of artificial general intelligence and where AI could end up going in the future. So I think it's very important to begin with this discussion of AI with a parameterization of the term. So what is artificial intelligence? What does artificial intelligence mean? Well, I mean, to unpack that, we first have to unpack what intelligence means. So intelligence means the ability to apply knowledge and skills, of course, does it not? So what does the artificial ability to apply knowledge and skills mean? Well, it could be anything. It could be any kind of computer software, really, could it not? It could be a clock that automatically changes the date and time on a computer's. It could be a spell checker. It could be a chess computer. It could be any kind of computer software, really, that undertakes automatic processes, or any kind of artificial creation, I suppose, or machine, or automaton, or autonomous, yeah, mechanical device that sort of applies a skill, if you like. So I suppose you could argue, perhaps, that artificial intelligence may have actually predated computer technology, since you have, well, what's an example of what I mean by that? I mean, well, I mean like self-playing pianos and things like this, like yeah, or clockwork toys. I guess like well, is it like a clockwork toy that like claps cymbals together? Yeah, I guess that is a sort of skill, isn't it? It's a pretty rudimentary skill, albeit. However, it is nonetheless a skill. However, it's like clockwork, not so much different from computation. I guess computers on a level all basically integrate clocks within them. I mean, every computer has a clock, and every computer is in part a clock. So is the clock sort of like an artificial intelligence device, since it's a time-telling machine, or it's a time-keeping machine? We have to change clocks, of course, or we used to have to change clocks before digital technology emerged. But you might make a kind of tenuous case that a clock is a sort of artificial intellect, or a sort of machine intelligence. Yeah, I suppose, yeah, you could perhaps make that case. But mostly when we talk about AI, we use it in a frame of reference where it's, of course, applied to computer technology and mostly computer software. And yeah, I guess we've had AI for ages, and I don't know what it is about the media. They love cooking up doom and gloom stories, do they not? They love cooking up sort of yeah, fear-based narratives about the so-called dangers of AI and what we stand to, well, lose as a result of it, or that we might have a sort of artificial general intelligence, which is a different sort of term, which means, well, artificial general intelligence is the term that applies to humanoid-like intelligence, or human-like intelligence. And if we were to just program artificial general intelligence, if we could just have, the perfect simulation of a human brain, right, in a computational medium, and from that create a simulated person, the sort of perfect NPC, if you like, non-player character, I suppose you could just have a sort of person inside a computer simulation, right? Could you not? Who has their own thoughts, feelings, emotions, concerns, level of intelligence, array of knowledge and skills. But I don't see why that person that's been simulated would be able to take over the world or something, or unleash havoc, or launch all the nukes, or whatever it is that people are most afraid of. But artificial intelligence does, of course, encompass things like hacking software and computer viruses, and things that could potentially get out the nuclear codes. So it's important to be aware of those things also, and like malicious forms of software, which of course in their own right Basic computer viruses, of course, those are also a form of artificial intelligence, and those can, yeah, be programmed to, well, maybe rob the nuclear codes. If it really works that way, I don't think it actually works that way with firing nukes and things like this. I think it's not just a matter, is it? It's like hardwired also. It's not just a matter of computer software, of course. And I think ultimately it does come down to like presidents pushing red buttons, and ultimately the person in the submarine acting as yet another failsafe in case the president goes mad or whatever, pushing a red button to launch an intercontinental ballistic missile and so on. So I think when it comes to the dangers of software and artificial intelligence and computer intelligence, I think we've more or less limited, well, the extent to which AI could be a threat to us, or to be more precise, we're actively engaged in the process of refining our computational abilities, both in terms of hardware engineers, I think, and software technicians and software engineers, to be able to locate AI threats with better speed, accuracy, precision, and so on, and being able to mitigate those threats and manage them in a sort of real-time basis as and when they occur. So I don't think AI is necessarily something to be worried about, although it is something to be worried about also, because I'm sure like all sorts of things are going to pop up in the future that may well be able to steal your banking information or rob your personal details out of social media, and I don't know, mess with your personal life in some way, or there'll be some sort of new fraudster program going around the internet that robs people of money, or wants to sell them crap like NFTs and that sort of stuff, or some new fraudulent digital currency, which, let's face it, if you fall for that sort of thing, it's sort of your own fault anyway. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully it benefits us, well, more than it harms us, of course. Hopefully that's the objective of all technology, and I think technology in a general sense has aided us as a species. I don't think it's necessarily set us back. People bitch and moan about social media, even though we use it constantly, and we supposedly hate on it. Well, we certainly hate on it, but we supposedly hate our lives and what social media has turned our lives into, and we imagine that people had better lives in the past, and we engage in golden age thinking, or the look on the past of the rose-tinted spectacles. Like, oh, wasn't it lovely in the 1980s when everyone was just taking drugs and having fun and listening to all awesome 80s music, and no one had a bad life back then, and there was no social media, and that's the reason why everyone had a great life, as opposed to in the 21st century, where arguably our lives are better than that. And AI isn't the problem, and never has been, and probably never will be. Again, the dangers of technology consist not in the technologies themselves, but in their applications, i.e. how we choose to use them and how other people choose to use them. And with any new invention, with any new technology, there's always an inherent level of risk with it, associated with it, but it's got to be managed. It's got to be managed by legislation, via the technologists themselves, how we use it, how the consumer uses it, and so on and so forth. So sorry, that's my conclusion on AI, i.e. software, more or less. Again, how very boring, how very dull, dreary, but how possibly likely to be true, in my opinion, this little video essay was. Bye, thank you very much for watching.